Today is February 20th, 2022. This is Mordecai, host of The Updates, bringing you your daily Elden Ring update. There is some more news about Elden Ring today. So the RedBull event happened, and the first part of this video is just going to be a spoiler-free overview of it. I kinda tuned into their stream here and there for a bit, as I really couldn't resist the temptation since it's become such a habit at this point to check for Elden Ring info all the time. And I badly need an intervention, but anyway, the stream ended up being over 7 hours long, but we'll just go over the important stuff. Firstly, they said they would show a developer interview, but it ended up just being a pre-recorded video of Caelid thanking the community for their support, patience, yada yada yada, basically things we've seen before. Then they had some content creators from the community, some of whom you should recognize as I had them guest host updates on the channel last year, show up and each play a class from the game. And I'm not going to show or talk about what they played as it was unfiltered gameplay of the final build of the game and I didn't even want to look for myself. But I will tell you that they were playing the PC version of the game with the day 1 patch applied, as you could see the 1.01 version on the bottom right. However, unfortunately, they experienced some stuttering and crashes despite having good PC setups during the event. And this kinda seemed unanimous across the board regardless of the hardware, so it seems to be an issue with the game itself. But considering how the game runs smoothly on next-gen consoles supposedly, I would guess they will eventually patch it and iron out the issues for PC. As always though, I recommend waiting for Digital Foundry's performance analysis video that'll come out this week, and also engaging in the foolproof practice of trying the game out for yourself to see if you find the performance acceptable, and if not, you can just refund it on Steam as long as you have less than 2 hours of playtime. But anyway, PC performance aside, we also got a good look at the new HUD, which I'm gonna show here. I guess this is what the press meant when they said that the new HUD has a golden embellishment around it. I personally didn't mind the old one as I thought it looked clean, but at the end of the day, it's just the HUD, and it's basically been the same for the last 13 years. So unless they make a drastic change one of these times, then I don't really mind how it looks myself. But yeah, that's pretty much an overview of what happened at the RedBull event. If you didn't watch it, you missed out on a ton of intermission, tech problems, and a fantastic green screen work. But now, it's time we talk about the overview trailer that we got at this show, which was like 7 minutes long. So this is your spoiler warning. I didn't initially watch this trailer myself, but people told me it's not all that bad in terms of spoilers, so I caved in. It does show off a lot of what we've already seen, all the way from the Summer Game Fest trailer to the new ads, which have been popping up this past week. So, let's talk about the new things that we learned. The trailer starts off with this shot of a bunch of broken jars surrounding a minor Erdtree, which are the places where you can get crystal tears, aka the buffs you equip in your Flask of Wonders physique. These are usually guarded by bosses according to the press who played the game, 2 of whom we know to be the Putrid and Erdtree avatars in the Caelid biome. And this one right here is probably guarded by a boss as well, as you can see the co-op summoning sign stake on the bottom right. Moving on though, we then see a quick snapshot of the Samurai class in what appears to be Liurnia of the Lakes in a dark and starry night. Then it pans into a castle that we haven't seen before, and I wonder if this is the 3rd legacy dungeon in the game aside from Lucaria or Stormveil, or if it's just some medium-sized dungeon instead. Later on, we get this cool view, and immediately judging by the skybox, we're in the Caelid biome, which is the desert area to the east of Limgrave. If you recall from the Game Informer video, apparently Alexander the Jar tells us that we should head to the Redmane Castle in the Caelid Wilds. So perhaps this is where we're headed in this snapshot. If you look at the banner hung on the walls, we see that this is the sigil of the house. For comparison, this is what Stormveil Castle's sigil looks like. And I personally can't wait to see the banner for all the major houses in the game. Anyway, judging by all the weapons hanging around in this picture, we're probably headed to some sort of combat festival, and hopefully we get to see General Radahn as the demigod in this region. Anyway, the rest of the trailer has a lot of quick snapshots, so I figured I would just organize it by region. Firstly, we get plenty of new footage from inside Stormveil Castle with its varying types of enemies. A place where you can meet many NPCs and explore some new paths, some of which are hidden and need careful use of jumping on ledges. This scene immediately follows the Stormveil snapshots, so I wonder if it's perhaps located near it. Anyway, we also get some more shots from Limgrave, the beginning area that we're all pretty familiar with by now. But we do see a new weapon which appears to be some sort of harp-shaped bow that looks pretty cool. Also, in Limgrave you can apparently come across enemies that are already fighting each other, something we saw in the Castle Morn footage as well. Moving on though, we get a few more quick looks at the lake biome Liurnia, its outdoors, and even one of its glintstone mining caves. Then we finally see this enemy from the original batch of screenshots with the game. There's a site of Lost Great behind it as well, so perhaps it's early on in the level. Later on in this biome, you will eventually reach its legacy dungeon, Raya Lucaria, and we get some closer glimpses of it here. Beyond this region though, we get a decent look at the autumnal biome, and they finally show off some glimpses of the map here. So it's now possible to get a better rendition of the full map. And this zone seems pretty big, with the volcano being located on the west side and the Erdtree capital being on the east. We still don't know what's up with these floating phantom banners, but they might just be part of the environment for this region. There's also this new enemy here that we haven't seen before. Moving on though, we get some better looks at the snowy area. There's this part, which we saw in the ad trailer a couple of days back, and then this enemy, which looks like an undead version of the lion we fought in Stormveil during the network test. The character is using some pretty cool twin blades here as well. And remember this hand enemy from the Summer Game Fest trailer? Well, we see another one like that out here that literally gives you the middle finger and looks to put up a good fight. The trailer also shows off some other interesting characters in the game. First, this wolf guy is referred to as a character by the narrator.
Throughout your journey, you'll meet with many characters, each with their own motives and goals.
Then we get better looks at the feline fight, this NPC in Stormveil, Gael the dragon, a golem with a bow, and finally, Slave Knight Gael. Overall, I'd say this was a pretty solid overview trailer, and one that can appeal to non-Souls fans for sure. We still have one more trailer before the game comes out though, and that's the launch trailer, which is much shorter, snappier, and shows off way more areas. And it usually accompanies some copyrighted song, like Dark Souls 3's trailer had a song from Hosier playing in the background. And that trailer basically showed off a lot of late game bosses, but we obviously didn't know it at the time. So some viewer discretion before the launch trailer is released this week. But anyway, for now, this has been your daily Elden Ring update for February 20th, 2022.
あとはそうですね、まだまだ世界中がすごく大変な状況ですので、皆さんも本当に健康にお過ごしください。はい、以上です。この後もぜひ放送をお楽しみください。ありがとうございました。